Okay, so I'm back again um, with another garden update for 2012, and but now I'm gonna start calling it my kind of my backyard farming update because it seems like every year I just put out more and more production. So, but basically I wanted to start here. This is my greenhouse. This little plastic thing right here. This my plastic this little I don't know Tupperware dish is my little greenhouse. And basically what's going on here is I had seeds that were like 4 or 5 years old, and I was curious, my seed bank here, I was curious if they still germinate, if they still work after even like 4 or 5 years. And kind of surprised, some do and some don't. But I have all these seeds, and I hate to throw them away because they should still be good, but I was just kind of curious on how many um, how many years the seed packet will last, um, you know, for storage purposes. And then, so I came up with this, my little greenhouse, and I got peas in there. These are peas, green beans. These sprouts right here are tomatoes. And these what didn't sprout are marigold plants, and they didn't sprout. But yeah, that's my greenhouse. I don't really have like a real greenhouse, but I don't know, it kind of works okay. But it was just kind of a experiment to see how long these seed packets really last, because they do have an expiration date on them, and sometimes I write the dates on them, but I don't know how long these last. I mean, that seed is a fresh seed, but I mean, I'm just kind of curious on, like, this is 10 of '09, just kind of curious on how long these seeds will last. But anyway, enough of that. This is my other experiment. Basically, I went like 3 weeks ago, went fishing, and I came back. I went to the bait shop, and I noticed that the bait shop, they had the same worms that websites were selling on the internet for composting. So these are, I want to say red wigglers, but anyway, I went fishing and I bought a pack of red wigglers, and I figured, well, I didn't use all my worms, so I figured I'll just save them and just kind of see what happens. So I looked on some composting sites, and I made my little compost bin. This is just a Folgers coffee can. I just drilled real small holes through it, and I put some paper in it, and I'll dump it out here. It's kind of smelly and nasty because there's too much water in it, but as you can see, I don't know if you can really see that, but the worms don't seem to be complaining, and they're looking pretty healthy. So yeah, that kind of worked out. So hopefully this stuff will be like, I'll clean this out right now since I dumped them all out, and then I'll put this stuff on my garden. And because I didn't have fertilizer, and so I'm kind of wondering if I could just use these worms and buy more of these red wigglers and just make my own worm castings and my own compost. And as you can see, he's trying to perform there. But yeah, that's my other experiment. I gotta put these guys away or they're gonna find a home elsewhere. So this year has been a little bit different because in past years I've used starts, like plants that have already been started, but this year's been different because I've been using seeds to start it. And basically all I do to start these seeds indoors, I start them inside in the window, is I'll take a McDonald's cup, chop it in half, and then add some good soil, put the seeds in, and this is what you get. So, and then I'll transplant these. I'll probably, like on this one, I'll just pick out the best plant of the 3, and then I'll transplant. What I'll do is I'll take my razor and I'll cut these down and then transplant this entire thing, and then you get a few weeks down the, probably about, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks down the road, you get something like this. So that's yeah, most of these are from seed, but that's a easy way to get these. The reason why I went to these seeds is because the starts were like $3 or $4 a piece this year, and I was, I'm just like too cheap, and so I can get more production if I just start the seeds inside, and it's cheaper that way. So these are every year I have tomatoes right here, and I'm kind of wondering, if the soil gets robbed of nutrients, but because I grow organic, I don't use any fertilizers or anything like that, and I didn't spread any manure this year. Usually I put a, I don't know, 10-pound bag of manure in, but I didn't this year, so I'll see what I get as far as production wise, as far as how many tomatoes I get this year. But this year I only usually do like 8 plants, but this year I've done, well, there's 9 plants, and then I got the bucket going, so this is what they look like. I planted I think the weekend of Mother's Day. Started all these from seeds. These are Romas, and they keep wanting to flower, and I don't want them to flower, because when they flower they take all the nitrogen out of the plant, and they're just not mature enough to produce fruit, So this one I just used chicken wire because I ran out of the tomato cage, but that's a Roma. These are Romas that I just started, like I just showed you. And then I got my little irrigation wannabe drip irrigation system. This is green peppers. See, I'll let this one flower because I want tomatoes now. I can't afford to buy them, so I want tomatoes. So they're all going to be Romas, and but I ran out of tomato cages, so I had to use the chicken. Yeah, I ran out of tomato cages. Sorry, my battery went dead, but I ran out of tomato cages, so I'm just using this chicken wire. Basically, the tomato cage is just so the stem, once it starts growing, basically the stem, which is right here, this is the stem. Once it starts growing, when it starts producing fruit, it'll snap. Like this stem right here snapped. See? So we don't want that. So that's the purpose of the tomato cage, and this chicken wire works fine. I don't know. I mean, oh well. So yeah, these are my 9 tomato plants this year. Pretty much the same as all the other years, but I did try something new this year, and I tried this container gardening, and this bucket is from, I planted the seeds I started my greenhouse, my little plastic greenhouse in here, and that was just last night that I planted them. So this is another bucket garden. This is my heirloom tomato. I can't remember the species of tomato, but whatever. I can't remember it, but it's the heirloom. The heirloom tomatoes taste so much better than the hybrids that you get in the store. Most of the seed packets. So that's my Sun Tea too. And then as I was saying though, I went with the buckets this year. This is the first time I've done container gardens. And if I had it all over again, I would definitely do it again. These container gardens are awesome. This is the way. This is the future of growing right here in these containers. I don't even want to go back to having. I don't even know about raised beds. I've never done raised beds, but these containers, these 5-gallon buckets, growing in these 5-gallon buckets, makes gardening so much easier. Number one is because they're mobile. You can move them anywhere you want. Even if you had an apartment or whatever, you can still, all you got to do is take a 5-gallon bucket, and as you can see, these are like builders 5-gallon buckets. All you got to do is drill holes in the bottom. I'll show you one. See if I can. I don't know if you can see that, but just drill holes in the bottom to allow drainage. Put some good soil in them, and then put them outside in the sun. And just to let you know, these container gardens are good for plants like tomatoes, green peppers. I don't know if I'd so much use them. I mean, I imagine you could use them for things like watermelon or cantaloupe, but the problem with watermelon, cantaloupe is they vine out. I mean, I guess you could use them. I don't see why you couldn't, but I don't know. I really like them though. This I'm definitely gonna stick with this system. And I don't know about bending over, having the system that I had before, but I'm kind of done with that. I'm gonna be a container gardener, container farmer, and that's it. So yeah. And this is my I call this my parking lot garden. Basically, I planted green beans and peas in here, but it hasn't sprouted. These are not green beans and peas. These are just like seeds from the lawn. They get blown in by the wind. I tried making mounds, and I tried making potato mounds, but this garden is just not taking off. It's just not taking off. And I think the reason why it's not taking off and I can't get anything to grow here is because I got this huge tree, and I got three huge trees that are just shading it out, and I'm not getting any sun here. So what I figured was to just use container gardens and then start building a chicken coop. But I started building my chicken coop yesterday. I was going to start build my chicken coop, and I can't have chickens. So I can't have chickens, I can't have guns. That's why you never see me with a whole lot of gun videos, because you can't have guns, you can't have chickens. So yeah, I even tried fertilizing this garden. I used synthetic 10-10-10 fertilizer, and still nothing, which I really hate using fertilizers, but I just couldn't get anything to grow out of this. So oh well. So what I did is I just used the dirt. I can grow dirt over here fine probably, so I just dug the dirt up, put it in my containers, put the containers over there in the sun to where I know it's going to grow, and that's my strategy. So yeah, am I food independent yet? No. Am I getting there? Yeah. I'm getting to a point to where I am food independent, that I can grow my own food and I don't have to go to the grocery store so much anymore. But I don't know. I mean, I just keep on putting out more and more production every year. So they want to try to starve us out. Go for it, because I'll just grow my own food. I don't care.